So we're going to look at how to structure your thesis using section headings, how to insert a table of contents, and how to correctly paginate your thesis. Okay, so the first thing is if we look at these style options, these are really underused in Microsoft Word, but they're really useful. So let's look at the normal style first of all. So we can modify a style by right-clicking and selecting Modify. And then in the window that comes up, we can choose, well, how do we want all of the normal text to appear? So I'm going to choose the default font. I want it to be justified, and I want it to be 1.5 line spacing. So that means now all the text in the document that is attributed to the normal style will follow that default theme. It's very, very useful. Okay, what about headings then? So again, we can modify our headings. So here I'm going to have the heading maybe one size bigger than the default font. I'm going to make it bold and 1.5 spacing. And now what I can do is if I click where I want the heading and just click on the heading style. Now I've forgot to change the colour here, so I'll just change that to black. And you see now this is a consistent theme for the heading level 1. I can do it for subsection headings as well. I'm going to call this heading 2. Again, just right click, modify, and style the heading appropriately. So this is going to be the same size as the font in bold. You see subsection headings, all the letters are capitals. And finally, subsection headings, they'll be heading level 3. These have just the first word as a capital. So if I right click on style heading 3, modify, and in this case it's the same size as the font, it's bold, and it's 1.5 spacing. Great, and you can number these appropriately. So that's headings. Now the really useful thing about headings and normal is, as well as ensuring a uniform style, we can incorporate in the table of contents. So to insert a table of contents, we click on the References tab and choose Table of Contents. And the easiest thing is just to choose the option Insert Table of Contents. Gives you most control. So when we click on this, a dialog box comes up. Now the default is fine. It says to show page numbers, right align page numbers, and so on. But if you did want to change anything, you can use the Options and Modify buttons. So Options would allow you to add an extra heading level, for example. 3 is usually fine. And Modify would allow you to change the table of content template. Okay, so if I cancel there, I've inserted the table of contents, press OK, and you see this automatic text comes up. And this lists the contents based on their level headings. So let's just change something now. If I insert a page break and move that onto the next page. And now if I go back to my table of contents, I want to update it. So if I right click on the table of contents, choose Update Field, and then choose Update Entire Table, you'll see now the number correctly numbers 2, because that section's on the next page. Okay, so the next thing we'll look at are page numbers. Now page numbers are a little bit complicated because in the thesis there are 2 sections. There's the initial section that lists the abbreviations, acknowledgements, and so on, and these are paginated using Roman numerals, and then the main thesis itself is paginated using ordinary numbers. So if I insert here, click page numbers, and just choose bottom of page, and insert those there. I can now format the page numbers by choosing the page number option. And here, because this is the start of the thesis, it's paginated using Roman numerals. So I choose those and press OK. But now I need some way of separating this section from the rest of the thesis. So first of all, I'm just going to do some formatting. So this is called Table of Contents. I'll give it heading 1 style. And now what I want to do now is insert a break between this section and the next section. So if I go into the first page at the second section, see here it says same as previous. If I highlight that, page number and unclick link to previous. What that means now is when I format the page numbers here, it doesn't affect the page numbers on the in the previous section. So see here I can say 1, whereas in the previous page it still has the Roman numeral, and this is caused by a section break. So before I update my table of contents, I'll just insert a chapter title. This is usually on a page before the chapter itself. So again, I'll insert a section break in the page layout tab. So next page break. So I've got a blank page there, page 1, and what I want to do now is just put in the chapter title, so let's just call it chapter 1. So if I type in chapter 1, and I'm going to give this title format, so I just choose title, and then I can modify this as before. So on modify I just change this, so I change the color, I can change the font back to the default font, I can center it, and I can get rid of that annoying line that's underneath by clicking on the format button at the bottom of the window. So format border it'll be, and just say no border. So click on none and press OK. Okay, so now I have my chapter separated from the rest of the document by a section break, and separated from the previous part of the document by a section break. So now if I right click and update my table, we'll see the table updates accordingly. I've got the first part of the thesis with Roman numerals and the rest with numerals. So there's some hints on how to structure your thesis.